Hi, this is Jody from mcpactions.com. Thank you for your purchase of the MCP Tell Us Storyboard action set or sets that you purchased. I'm going to show you today some fun ways that we can use these storyboards. I'm going to show you a new creative way that we can add patterns into our storyboard and also digital scrapbooking papers into our storyboard by using clipping masks. And the other thing I'm going to show you today is how to add colorful squares into your storyboard. So the first thing that we're going to go ahead and do is we're going to open up a storyboard. Adding patterns into storyboards, a lot of the papers that scrapbookers make are actually 20 by 20 or 12 by 12 squares at 300 resolution. So the best set to use this with will be the 20 by 20 set or in the variety pack and rounded up actions that have the 20 by 20 or 30 by 30 storyboards. They can work in the 10 by 20s as well. You'll just have to do some transforming. We're going to go ahead today and let's go ahead and run this one right here. And when it's done running, you'll go ahead and you'll see there's 4 squares and just a plain white background, which isn't very exciting. So we're going to go ahead and pick one of our papers. We're going to do Window, Arrange Cascade, so I can see what other papers we've got going on here. And we'll go ahead and start with this one right here. What we're going to do is we're going to drag it in to this photo. We're going to go ahead and use the Move tool. And then we're going to hold down on our left mouse button and drag it in. If you hold the Shift, it'll be centered when it's dragged in. And you'll notice right now it puts it below, so it acts like it's a picture. We're going to bring it above the storyboard. So we're going to left click and drag it above our storyboard instead of below. Now you'll see the only problem we have here with this, oops, sorry about that. I got to get our storyboard back. I've got all the other papers. Okay, here we go. The only problem we've got with it right now is it's not big enough. So we're going to transform it by doing Command or Control and the letter T at the same time while we're on layer 1. And we're going to go ahead and drag, and as long as it's not too low res of an image, we should be okay doing this. And you'll see it looks pretty good when it's done there. Now, you'll see we're covering up the holes at this point, and this is where a clipping mask comes into play. We're going to bring our mouse over here and we're going to either use the Alt or Option key on a Mac, Alt on a PC, and we're going to hold the Alt key down. When we hold it down and put our mouse right between these 2 layers, you'll see we get a funny little circle and a circle button. And if we click that, you'll see that the pattern will actually clip to the outside, which is exactly what we want. And then you can turn on or off the optional borders. So, that's the first way to do it. So I'm going to go ahead and close out of this now. And we're going to go ahead and build another storyboard. So this time we're going to build one with 9 holes. And here's our storyboard. And we're going to go ahead, again, we need to find a paper. So we're going to go Arrange Cascade. And let's go ahead and use this brown paper this time. We'll go ahead and use our Move tool. We're going to drag this into the photo and hold Shift down so it kind of centers itself. Then again, layer 1 needs to go above, photos go below here. Because this isn't a photo, this is actually going to be our background. Control or Command T to transform. Hold your Shift key down. I think I forgot to say that before. Hold your Shift key down and it will maintain your aspect ratio so you don't distort what you're doing. And then click the check mark up at the top. And you'll see again our holes are closed right now, so we need to add our clipping mask. We're going to Alt or Option click right in between these 2 layers. Once you get that little funny circle, click, and there you go. You have your clipping mask. Alternatively, we're going to go in the history palette. If you don't feel like doing that with this, you can also come in here and right at the edge of your palette, it's going to actually, let me move my palette over so you can see this. If I click on this little button at the very edge, you'll see if you come down here, that you have an option to create a clipping mask. Does the exact same thing. So I'm going to move my palette back down here again. And you'll see how nice that looks. It gives it a little bit more dimension. I prefer papers that are very simple and pretty monotone when I use them as backgrounds in storyboards, so they don't take away too much from your photos. And you'll see it's very easy to do. It's actually a little more effective. In my first tutorial, I showed you how to do patterns, which is great if you have seamless tiles. But sometimes if you've got background papers and the edges are already dark, it makes it kind of hard to line it up perfectly so that they look seamless. This way is a good way to do it if that's the case, if you need to make sure that it extends. So now we've got our storyboard, and again, we would just take pictures, open them up, and drag them in. If you do your background first, you're going to want to make sure to go back to your background layer and click on it before you start importing your pictures with the Move tool. That way they will go below this layer. Otherwise, you'll have to drag each one. Or you can do this at the end, add your clipping mask at the end with the paper, and then you won't have to worry about that because it defaults to the pictures going under. Next thing I was going to show you, sorry about that, I had to pause it for a moment. Got a phone call. The next thing I'm going to show you is how to do color squares into your storyboard. So we're going to go ahead and take off this clipping mask right now. So we've got a plain solid colored storyboard. And what you can do is you can actually create squares that can actually cover up. If you've ever seen those storyboards where you've got a solid color and then a picture and a solid color and so on. We can actually do that with these storyboards. We're going to go ahead in our actions palette. Actually, I'm going to run. It's going to take a moment, but it's my favorite one to do this with. Is in the Rounded Up pack. There is a 30 by 30 storyboard that has 12 holes. So we're going to go ahead and run that real quick. And we'll take a second. While it runs, I'll explain. What you're going to do is you're going to actually create the size. So it's 6 by 6. 12 6 by 6s is what these openings are. So we're going to create 6.25, because I always say to add 0.25, by 6.25 color squares, which is what I've done here, but I'm going to actually X out of this and show you how to do it by yourself. Go up to File, and then click on New. You're going to come in here, and we're going to create a 6.25 inch by 6.25 inch at 300 resolution, and click OK. Now here's our square, and we can go ahead and add any color we want to this. So we can come in here and literally with the color picker, once we click on it, we can add any color we want. So if we want to do some bright colors, we can do those. If we want to do blue, red, whatever you want. So we'll start with, let's do a fun green, and click OK. You're going to take your paint bucket tool and just dump the paint into your square. You're going to use your Move tool and literally drag it into the photo, and it will be right behind. Put it in there nice and careful. And then again, let's go find our square right here. And we can go ahead and in the color picker, just click on that green spot now and pick another color. So say we want a turquoise square. Take your paint bucket, dump it in. Again, use the Move tool and position it, and so on. So you could add 3 or 4 color squares in here and then add photos for the rest. And it gives it a nice fun look. You could also take a square. This is one more thing you can do. Take a square, and it can again be any color. Let's go ahead and pick a nice fun orange, summery orange color. Well, that's yellow. Let's say. It's not wanting to give me a fun orange color. Let's go in here. Okay, there we go. And go ahead and dump your paint bucket tool in. And you could also add text. So you could come in here. I'm going to make it a little bit bigger. And you could type like summer. Got to switch text colors. Summer fun. Click the check mark to accept your text, and then we've got summer fun. Now we can go ahead, we have to flatten it, so go under layer, flatten, then drag your text in, with your box, and there you've got it. Summer fun. And you could actually go ahead and have centered the text. I think I accidentally uncentered it when I rasterized it. But you can go ahead and you can type any text you want in any of these as well, or do it once you're in the storyboard. That's my tutorial for today. Hope you enjoyed my tutorial and learned a lot about using your storyboards. And if you have any questions, just give me a buzz at jody@mcpactions.com. Thank you very much. And also, I should mention that the papers used today were from Tina Parker Designs. They are not included in my package, but you can go ahead and purchase those from her, or purchase any other scrapbooking papers and use them in this any of my storyboards. Thank you.